for today. He is Mr. Riyads Ahmed, and Mr. Riyads will be taking us on navigating regulatory compliance for vertical transportation. Again, I'm going to give a brief professional profile of Mr. Riyads Ahmed. So Mr. Riyads Ahmed is a highly accomplished international business expansion expert and global sales strategist with over 2 decades of leadership experience, driving large-scale sales growth, operational expansion, and market penetration across Africa, Asia, and the CIS region. He's renowned for building sustainable, high-performing business ecosystems and securing market leadership in competitive and complex environments. Riyads has successfully executed end-to-end expansion initiatives in over 20 countries, scaling both premium and value-based brands with consistent results. With deep expertise in market entry strategy, distributorship and channel development, B2B partnerships and alliance development, PLL ownership, scaling, and business turnarounds. Riyads has global expansion, has led and also left global expansion footprints, successful market entry and operational growth across multiple regions. In the African region, we are looking at Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, amongst others. In the Asia region, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, among other regions. The CIS region, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, among others. So across these markets, Mr. Riyads has built and led cross-border teams. He has established robust distributor ecosystems and secured institutional and government contracts within diverse regulatory and commercial environments. So he has over 20 years of international leadership across 3 continents. He has successfully spearheaded operational setup and market expansion in more than 20 emerging markets, designing and executing market entry strategies that deliver sustained year-on-year revenue growth. He has also built and managed large-scale sales teams and regional partner networks across Africa and the CSI. Please, I would like you to mute your mics if so that you don't distract us. Thank you. So back to Mr. Riyads' profile. He has led multi-million-dollar enterprise and government negotiations and developed parallel premium and value brand strategies to achieve effective market segmentation and market leadership. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Riyads Ahmed. Mr. Riyads, you're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Syed. Welcome everyone, and thank you very much. Welcome everyone once again. So, Dr. Amuda Yusuf and Engineer Dr. Isa made my job easy. So most of my my presentation, I think 90% of my presentation, they already have, they have conveyed the information. But I would like to touch some important and interesting points. Why are we discussing this topic today? Is because if you see in the current scenarios, though I have been in the sales field, in the sales market, and also the expansion market, the demand of elevator has gone so much that once elevator was considered as a luxury, but these days it has been considered as an essential, so that every house, every homeowner, they need an elevator for many other reasons. So if you see vertical transportation is required, somebody they need it because they want to have a luxury house. Somebody wants to have an elevator because they're not able to have an access to the first floor or the second floor of the of the house they have lived. So what happened is like when the demand increases, so there are so many companies they started coming into the market and they started coming developing their own product and they started selling this product into the various countries. Now, as per my experience, when I go to different countries, I understand each and every country they have their own requirement, their own compliance or regulatory requirement that if you want to have an elevator company here, we need your product to be licensed and certified. So if it has to be licensed and certified, they have to comply the regulatory of that particular country. So there are some countries which are still behind. They don't have any sort of regulatory so far. But now I think most of the country, they started to imply the regulatory or they started issuing a compliance of this. So when I want to talk about the compliance or regulatory, I'm going to talk about global because as per my experience and what I have seen in the global market, they have different standards. There are American standards, there are European standards. So what are the different standards? I'm going to share in my screen in my future presentation. So I'm going to explain you the standards and I'm going to quickly touch the point which I want to, just to give you more bright insight of that. And there are some points which is already explained. So I'm going to skip those points so that we don't repeat those same points. Okay. So I'm quickly sharing my screen. Yes. So we are. So now what we are seeing here is the global regulatory landscape in vertical. So I'm going to skip the content because I'm not going to go in the order of content. So now major standard codes, when you go, we can go by region. Now globally, what is expected is ISO 8100 series, but this is not alone. This is not alone enough. So when you're selling an elevator or you're buying an elevator in Europe, so you must know that it has to be the EN 81, the European standard 81. It has to follow this standard. And the reason why it has to follow the standard is because one, if a customer wants to install this lift and he wants to get the project or the approval of his project, he have to submit the EN 81 certification to the government authorities to approve his design for construction. At the same time, any company that they want to sell and install an elevator in Europe, they have to have this certification. So this is a mandatory document apart from the ISO 8100 series. So now you go to the American continent, they need to have an American standard, ASME or CSA. So these are the two standards that they need. So if you come to Middle East, most of the Middle East, they have EN, the European standard, and also they need a local civil defense. So in our previous presentation, we can see some of the authorities, the governing bodies. So if you go to Middle East, they have a local defense. So you need to submit your drawings, you need to submit your product design to them and get it approved to sell and buy this product. So if you come to Africa, now this is the interesting part. Now, if you go Nigeria, Ghana, and if you go to the West Africa, they have EN 81. And if you go to East Africa, they do have EN 81. And the major part of the Africa, they have the certification authority. But to ensure the compliances, to make sure that they are selling at this, they're selling the product at this standard, and customers are buying at this standard, it's not guaranteed. Same as in Asia. If you go to India, when you see the product, you may not see the certification. You may not see the license of the. You may not need the license as well to sell this product, but they still have the product in the market, and the customer still buy. The major drawback, apart from the government approval and all those things, is like, for example, when you buy an elevator or when you sell an elevator, the main thing is that it is a device, the device which is risking life. So you have any incident or any casualties. So what happens is like there are some insurance company, you insure your property and you have an incident because of an elevator. Now you submit a claim and this claim can be rejected if it is not complying the standards. At the same time, they can also, sue, put a case on top of the incident saying that one, the property owner did not comply the standard, and the supplier, the guy who is issued, they installed the lift did not comply. So this is one of the major things that we need to look. So anybody who sell any lift in the market of Africa, anybody who buy an elevator in the market of Africa, it is highly necessary that they buy a licensed one so that any incident or anything that is apart from the approval and other things, then they make sure that they don't be in a different situation, in a difficult situation that they have to face the legal issues. Yeah. So that is why the major standard codes and major standard regulatory or the compliances, it has to be followed. So this is something that we need to keep in our minds. The key takeaway of this presentation on the first slide is that we need to know what compliances that we are using in different countries, different region. So if you want to install an elevator in Africa and you're following the American standard, so it's not valid. Although they say it is an American standard, no, it's not acceptable. So now we go. So I think this part, Dr. Amuda Yusuf has clearly explained. So I'm just going to brush a little bit and move to the next topic. So who is the compliance? So one is the municipality authority. Number two, building code department. There is a department which is going to give an approval of projects. So that you can construct and you can have the lift installed. And then the civil defense and the fire authority, third party inspectors and certification bodies like SES, TUV. And the deputy inspectors can be like a person who is coming from government authority or somebody who is assigned by a government to do the inspection and give the approval. So these are the governing bodies that controls the compliances. And what are the major part somebody who is buying or selling the lift has to make sure that one, it is manufactured as per the design which is in compliances with the standard of particular region. Number two, the installer has installed based on the requirement of the compliances. For example, safety issues, safety standards. It is having the mechanical brake and the ADS and other stuff. So they have to make sure that the installer is also having enough knowledge as well as certified to execute the installation. At the same time, the buyers make sure that it's in operation in compliance so that they don't have any legal issues that they come into in future. Yeah. So these are something that we need to look into. So I'm going to go to the next part. Okay. Now there are two top issues which I have already explained. So I'm going to go to the next slide again. Yeah. So how we ensure that there's a company or the product that I'm going to buy or I'm going to sell is certified. So we must have documents like type of test and certifications that the product has. And number two, the confirmatory declaration like the CE certification or any other confirmatory declaration was there. Risk assessment report, installation drawing which has been approved, and testing and commissioning report, maintenance manual. This has to be there always when you buy an elevator or when you sell an elevator to say a customer. The documents which a customer should maintain, you must have these documents at any point, so that it's not like an elevator that you buy an elevator is not similar to like buying a fan or a washing machine or a refrigerator. It's a device which is risking life. So anytime, any situation that you need to come up, you need to be prepared and you need to have this kind of documents. Number two, the best practice is like you need to make every document digitalized, compile a folder and keep everything from where you're buying, whom you're buying, what you're buying, and what are the products that you buy and how it is being sold to you, what is the condition, what is the certifications. At the same time, what are you selling, whom you're selling, and all those documents has to be digitalized. And the version control drawings, all the approval drawings, you need to have it. And pre-submission audits. So now you need to make sure that your product is, on a regular on a regular servicing and up to the condition of fit condition that it is functioning properly. So these are the documentations that you need to keep as when you're buying a lift or when you're a lift. Yes. So I'm going to go to the next one. So different segment, different market. Now, as I told you, the requirement of lift, the demand of the lift has increased. So there are three sectors that we can look into. One is residential, the basic safety compliances. The residential is like they always look into budget, they always look into the money, and they don't follow the compliances. So that's, and at the same time, the basic safety compliances, like they don't have a high demand or high requirement of complying that they need to have this. So they need to comply the basic safety compliances. So this makes the customer, to buy the elevator at a feasible price at the same time, because they don't have a major regulatory demands or requirement. So the seller also, make sure that he can sell within the compliances requirement, so that it becomes cost sensitivity and also a minimum code adherence. At the same time, when you're going into a commercial or high risk, so this is like it's not a lift which is personal, private. It's a public. So in the first case, the residential, it's a private lift. You're not going to put public into come to access your home or something like that. So the second thing is completely private. I mean, it's public. So the advanced safety system is completely required. Evacuation lift is definitely required. The fire and other requirements are mandatory. So these are having a high demand or to comply the entire safety protocol of the regulatory compliances. Then go for the government and infra B2G. There should not be any deviations in what you are selling and what they're buying. So what you propose to a government, so they have a zero tolerance for any deviations and strict documentation, and you will have a long approval cycle. So these are the three sectors of business that you can look into this, and at the same time the compliances that we need to move forward for each and every sector. Yes. Now I think that I'm going to go to the next one. So to make sure that you have a good sales strategy, any company which is selling, they need to have this kind of compliances apart from the product explanation, everything, to ensure that the customer is buying a safety product which is completely complying the regulatory of the lift requirements. So one is like inspection ready solutions. Number two, compliances guaranteed clauses, authority approved reference project, faster handover promise. So this is like a winning message, like we don't just sell lift, we deliver approved operational system. So it's not an elevator, it's delivered. We are delivering an approved operational system with all these four. We keep this as our USP, and we can sell this product since we have all these four. Now, again, as I told you the previous slide, that we need to digitalize everything, make sure that everything is there within our, all the documents are stored as digital, so that it is available, so that we don't have any physical approved documents. Even if it is misplaced, we can pull the copy from the digital one. Now, the future trends in vertical transportation compliance, what's coming up now? Stronger safety upgrades mandatory. So now, on a daily basis, these governing bodies, the regulatory bodies, they started increasing and imposing new regulatory standards. So they keep upgrading that we should have this, we should have that. Now we need to have the mechanical brakes. So those days they don't have to have a mechanical brakes. The moment they introduce the mechanical brakes, so they need to have the mechanical brakes. So a lot of things that they've been on a daily basis, they do an R&D and they start introducing more and more safety standards. Energy efficiency, yes, the previous speaker, engineer Dr. Isa and Mr. Amadou Yusuf has explained. So the lift has to be energy efficiency. Now, if you see most of our product, what we sell, like it's consuming electricity like equal to an air condition, 1.5 ton air condition. So that means like you will never know there is an elevator running in a house. So it's the in previous cases, if you see the consumption of the elevator is so high. Now it is very economic. and the energy efficiency, they are very energy efficiency. Then the IoT based inspection report. So they have regular, the regulatory body started having a regular inspection, a random inspection or a pre-booked inspection to the site, and ensure that the lift is in working condition, and they are complying in line with all the regulatory that they have to do, and they are and on a fit condition to travel. They ensure that, and then they harmonize ISO standards and ESG sustainability compliances. So these are the things that we can expect in future, and we are still we are still going to, these things are still developing, and they're starting, improving the standard on the compliance regulatory. Now, the framework, the compliance readiness framework starts from market specific based on the requirement of the market. Then the certification of the supply chain, installation team, inspection ready documents, and these are the things that we discussed in phase. Now, the key takeaway: compliance is not negotiable. So when you have any inspection or to your property, or when you supply this lift and you have an inspection on the consumer property, when the inspector come to the property, they do a compliance check, and there is something which is not matching or in line with the compliances, that is completely not negotiable. They don't tolerate those things, and they won't give until it is in line with what it is. And early planning saves time and cost. So this is again for buyer and seller. When a customer buy, he should make sure that he buy this as per the standard. So tomorrow when you buy, and then he found out that is not in line with what the government body that they need, or they follow a wrong standard. So that means like you're going to waste your time, at the same time the money which you have invested in buying the previous lift. And having a lift in your house is not like you're going to replace your tube light, your fan, or your air condition. So once you install an elevator, to install another elevator is not going to be same. It's going to be a different task. So it's not easy. So at the same time, we're going for the next one, the regulatory differences strategy. As I told you before, you buy a lift in Africa and it is following the American standards. No, it's not going to line with what you are. So you still have trouble over there. So compliance is equal to trust, access, and growth. So finally, the final closure of this presentation is like, when you buy a lift which is in line with compliances, so you can buy with trust, and you can make sure that it is accessible at any time, and it is serving your purpose. So that is all what we have to say, share, what I have to present today. And I would like to thank everyone once again to giving me this opportunity. Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Riyads.